So I've been listening to the new Vision of Disorder album, Razed to the Ground. And if you're familiar with v.o.d, you know that they're pretty big in the hardcore scene, even though they really don't sound like your typical hardcore band. Now, v.o.d came out with some early albums in the late 90s. I first heard of v.o.d by reading a review for Imprint in Metal Hammer magazine back in '98. I picked up the album and I loved it, so I've been a fan ever since. Now in 2001, v.o.d released From Bliss to Devastation, which was pretty much hated by most fans, myself included. Although now when I listen to the album, I actually like it a lot better than I did back then. So v.o.d broke up, and then they reformed, and then they decided they were going to release a new album. Now that new album that they released came out 3 years ago, The Curse Remained Cursed. Now that album was fantastic. I mean, it was comeback album of the year, comeback album of a career, if you ask me. It was just awesome. I mean, it took all the elements from the previous v.o.d albums, throw some Blood Simple in there, mix it all together, and you get Curse Remain Cursed. Now, one thing I always liked about Vision of Disorder is that their music was really unorthodox. The timing, the guitar riffs, I mean, just the way everything got put together. And that's like a signature staple of v.o.d. I remember when I first put in Curse Remain Cursed for my friend years ago, right after it came out. Within 4 seconds, he was like, "Is this Vision of Disorder?" I mean, you know Vision of Disorder as soon as you hear it. So Razed to the Ground is pretty much where Curse Remain Cursed left off. It's pissed off as hell, it's very aggressive, and it's diverse. So the opening track just busts out, it's heavy as shit, and it really gets you in the mood for what's coming up. Now, Tim Williams' lyrics have always been bleak and dark, and it's one of the things I've always liked about Vision of Disorder. This album makes no exception. Question the intention of the value of one's life. Show no forgiveness. Tim is more pissed off than ever, and you can really hear it in songs like Hours in Chaos. War on the police, the bodies in the street. We all got the mark of a fucking savage. I mean, he just has a bleak way of describing what the world really is, and it shows in the music. This place is heartless, right for the siege. A concrete kingdom and the chaos is king. Now the production is top notch. They brought in Chris Zeus Harris for this project, and you probably have heard his name countless times. I mean, Hatebreed, Municipal Waste, the list goes on and on. Zeus has a knack for bringing out the heaviness in bands, not that v.o.d needed it, but it really shows in this one. Now, of course, Tim has his melodic vocals, which are probably at their best in the past 2 albums, I would say. I wasn't a big fan of Tim's vocals on the earlier albums. His screams needed some work, but he definitely worked on it and combines all the elements from Bliss to Devastation, from Blood Simple, to bring it all here, and it mixes perfectly. He honed his craft. He perfected his voice, and it sounds amazing. And another thing about v.o.d are the guitar riffs. I mean, you just hear the riffs, and you know that they're v.o.d. They're very unique. v.o.d songs have always been unconventional, a little unorthodox. I mean, you go from Brandon Cohen's drumming which is one of a kind. When you hear him hitting the skins, you know exactly who it is. To the unconventional guitar riffs, I mean, it's v.o.d. and you got plenty of that here. But I think an element is missing. Some of those signature guitar riffs that we've come to love seem to be missing from this album. And one of the reasons could be is that Matt Baumbach, the other guitarist for v.o.d., who's been with the band since the beginning, left the band in 2013. Now, I don't know why he left the band. He wasn't fired or anything. But with a band like Vision of Disorder, where they don't make a whole lot of money, and at the age they're at, they have families, they have jobs, a lot of sacrifice and dedication is required to keep this band going. And unfortunately, when you're that old, sometimes you just can't do it. So I'm just speculating, though I really don't know what happened, but he is missed, that's for sure. Now, this album provides 10 standout tracks. Not one of them is filler. They're all really good. Now, I can't say that I like this album more than Curse Remain Cursed, because in my opinion, that album is a masterpiece. This one will definitely take some listening, but that's all good. I got all the time in the world to listen to this album. So my favorite songs on the album, I don't have a favorite yet, but I'll tell you right now, my favorites are Electric Sky. And then Cut My Teeth. This song goes all over the place, and I like this one a lot. Just take a listen. And then the album closes with a really strong track, Emertica, A Culture of Violence, which is Tim's synopsis on this goddamned culture of violence this country embraces, and he is just disgusted with it. You hear it in the song, and it's freaking awesome. It's great. So I definitely recommend this album. Like I said, I can't say that I like it more than Curse Beyond Cursed. I don't know if anything will ever top that album in my eyes, but it's right up there. I mean, it picks up right where Curse Remain Cursed left off, and it's exceptional. It's heavy as fuck, and I think anyone who likes heavy music, anyone who likes hardcore, and especially anyone who likes Vision of Disorder is going to dig this album. So check it out. Later.